Hey, I'm Mike, and we're going to do an upgrade today on my 24 Street Glide. This license plate frame mount with the big piece sticking out here, a lot of people have replaced that. There's several companies making options for it. Today, we're going to use one that is $70, and that includes the mount. Some of the ones I've seen with an LED license plate frame don't include the mount. By the time you add that, you're well over $100. So I found one for $70 from Hogworks. And we're going to install this and we'll see how it looks. So this is the stock frame mount. I already took the license plate off just to keep it out of the video, not that people can't see it. Also, if anybody's asking, these are smoked LED lenses I put in. I did a video on that. I'll leave a link to that video in the description because somebody's likely to ask. They're not brighter than stock lights, but I do like the looks of them and they are bright enough. So they're all right. They're an Amazon special. I'm waiting for someone like Hogworks or somebody else to make smoke lens direct replacements that look like the factory lights. Or at least fit inside this housing and not having to replace that paint matched housing. But anyway, let's get back to cleaning this thing up. So the stock light comes with this little reflector piece on here. That, of course, is going to come off. There's some bolts back here that we'll get to. They'll take this whole assembly off. So let's get started on taking that apart. Now the two mounting bolts are right back here behind this reflector. I think this reflector just kind of pops in there, slides right out, just two little clips on the back there. Now we can get to these Torx to take that apart. I'm going to use a T27. So when we lift this up, here's a little assembly that goes in here. I'm going to squeeze it and pop it in. Now this whole assembly is loose. All right guys, you can see right up in there, that is the wiring disconnect. So this was like a little dust cover that was over this. It clipped right here. You could just squeeze that and get the dust cover off so that you can get to this wiring clip and disconnect it. I'm gonna have to use both hands, so I'm not gonna be able to hold the camera at an angle where you can watch. Let's go ahead and get that apart and get this out of here. All right, so this connector here is just kind of clipped into that plastic shroud. You can kind of pry it out of that to make it easier to get to. And really, all you gotta do is, like any of these connectors, is put your fingernail in there and squeeze there. I've already got this kind of pulled loose, and then it'll just pull apart. So now I just gotta get the light wire fed back through and get that piece in the back out of there, unless we're gonna reuse it. I haven't even looked at the instructions for the Hogworks ones yet to see how it mounts, but I think it's just gonna be a couple of bolts and nuts going straight through, and we won't use this assembly at all. So Hogworks, of course, sent us some stickers. Everybody loves stickers. Thanks, guys. Instructions. Yep, looks like this is going to go straight through, and we're just going to use some washers on the backside nuts to secure it through those two holes. So we won't need that original assembly in there at all. There's our hardware. And this is the license plate frame. Man, I'm surprised how heavy this thing is. It's made out of real metal, not like pot metal kind of stuff or anything like that. It's nice and heavy. The LED lighting is built into the frame up here, and of course that plugs into that wire that I just disconnected. And there's our mount using those same two holes, and then these holes will be for this license plate frame. Oh, they even supply a little rubber grommet to go in that square hole to make sure your wire doesn't rub against the edge of the hole and everything. That's nice too. I've even got a little Hogworks detailer for cleaning the fender up here, getting some of that crap off that's behind it. Now, first step is putting this grommet on the wire, which is split, so that's easy to do. Run the wire through there. We'll have to connect that to the original harness here in a second. Get this grommet squeezed into the fender here. There we go. Man, fits good too. Now the hardware kit includes 4 black screws. These are going to be used for the frame, so we don't need those right now. They provide us with some bolts, washers, and nylon locking nuts. So that's nice of them. Let's go ahead and get this frame in place. Just drop the screws in there, will kind of hold this frame in place. Now get down here, Get these nuts on. Now these are a hex and not a Torx like the OEM equipment. All right, we're gonna use a 5/32 hex. You could use a hex bit or a T-handle. I'm gonna use a T-handle. 7/16 wrench to hold the nut on the back side. Go ahead and get one of these tightened up. All right, guys, I know I didn't use Loctite on that, but I'm going to. I just wanted to hold it in place with one. I just firmed it up. I'm gonna put Loctite on this other one, then I'll loosen the first one, put Loctite on it, and put it back. Just want to get that frame in place so it doesn't slip around, scratch the fender or anything while I'm working on it. I know I really probably don't need Loctite because these are nylon locking nuts, but maybe I'm just paranoid. I like to use Loctite. Now I'm going to do the other side. Now I'm going to have to bend my license plate up to fit it in there, but it's going to look good, I think. All right, now that I got it held in place, I'm gonna put some Loctite on these as well. And I will do the same thing after I get these first two done by taking the other ones out and putting Loctite on them and put them back. It's just, I find it easier to kind of get it in place and all lined up before I Loctite anything. Guys, while I'm doing this, let me know. I mean, I'm not hiding my license plate in this because that's a lot of work. I know some guys have had their license plates copied, and so now they hide their license plates. I'm actually looking at changing mine. I'm thinking about getting some vanity plates for riding in the Ozarks. What do y'all think? Would that be cool? Okay, the frame mount is on. Let's go ahead and get this cable pulled through all the way and plugged in. Looks to me like I'm probably gonna need to zip tie that wire up or secure it in some way or fashion so that I don't worry about getting it into the tire. I didn't see anything in the package for that, but it's easy enough to run a zip tie or something around where that fender support is and tie it to it. So we'll do that if that's what's needed. All right, so here's that fender mount right here, and you can run a zip tie behind it, and you can see right there I've got the wire kind of tucked into the zip tie. That keeps it up against the fender. It's not going to get into the tire this way, and that's really all that's needed is something to just keep it back from the tire. I didn't tie it, I'm not pinching the wire or the connector or anything like that. Sorry, it's a little fuzzy. It's hard to get it to focus in here. You guys get the idea. It's not we're just securing the wire back so it can't get caught up in the tire at some point. The only difference between what we have there now is Harley had a little 1 inch or ½ inch thick piece of plastic in there that connector was inside of that kind of shielded it. If I was worried about the connection, I could run electrical tape over it and stuff, but those connections are like that up inside the fairing and other places on the bike without being protected in some other way, so I'm fine with it. All right, guys, I turned the key on so you can see the final product. And as you can see, the license plate is illuminated. So those little LEDs do the job that's necessary so somebody can read the plate. But I think that looks a lot better than that big bulky ass thing that Harley had sticking out there. That fits up on the fender a lot cleaner, looks a lot better, and it was 70 bucks. So I'm happy with that upgrade. Now I got a little bonus for this video. I've got something else from Hogworks I put on the front of this bike. I don't trailer my bike a lot, but we did have a bike breakdown one time because of a wheel bearing and had to call a tow truck. We were 100 miles from a dealership almost or anywhere. We didn't even have cell service. We had to borrow a landline at a local business to be able to call out. That was down at the Ozarks Cafe. And the tow truck driver was not even sure how to strap the bike down stuff. So I got some HogWorks tie downs that go on the front forks of the bike for help securing it. And I'm gonna go ahead and install them, not because I'm gonna trailer the bike everywhere, but because if I ever have to have it trailered or towed, strapped down, it's a better way of securing it than trying to keep soft ties for the handlebars or things like that. I much prefer mounting it down the fork. I know some people mount them on the engine guard. I do have an engine guard, so that's also a possibility, but I'm gonna put these HogWorks tie downs on there. And that's all these things are. That's what they look like. 4 simple bolts. We'll take the OEM bolts out and put these in. So remove the OEM bolt here and here in the middle of this deflector, and then you'll mount these with the hardware that's supplied from HogWorks. It's a 3/16 hex to mount these. I've already put some blue Loctite on the bolts, so I'm ready to get these things on. This is a ball head. If you can kind of get that to focus on and see, but it's kind of rounded so you can get in there and if you have to at different angles and stuff. But when you get it up tight, you want to use the other end. It is not a ball head. There she is installed, and that's all you see is this little loop out here. Doesn't get in the way of moving your deflector in. You have the deflector out, you won't hardly even see this from the front. You might notice it if you push it in. It's just kind of like having insurance, peace of mind in case something happens and someone does have to tie your bike down. It's a better way of doing it than them trying to, wrap stuff around your handlebars, maybe rubbing against your fairing in here, things like that. Keeps it down away from your painted surfaces. 2024 Street Glide's got tie downs in the front and new LED license plate bracket in the rear. If you guys go to rallies like Sturgis or Daytona, make sure you look for HogWorks. I ran into them at Sturgis, and it was the guys from HogWorks. It wasn't like drag specialty guys working a booth for them. It was actually the HogWorks guys, same guys you see in their videos and everything else. Got to hang out with them, visit with them a little bit, go over my bike and some of the stuff I've done and stuff. It was really cool. Make sure you stop in and say hi if you see them at an event. And y'all stay safe, keep on riding. We'll see you in the next one.